Hello everyone, it's Tania Gabrielle here. Welcome to Astrology Numerology and welcome to Star Codes, where today we're going to look at a wonderful alignment between Jupiter and Uranus that ends the year and ends the decade and puts a beautiful bow on our year and decade because it's all about joy and freedom. Jupiter and Uranus represent the best of what we're supposed to be focused on, and that is joy and inspiration, freedom and happiness, well-being, and just a sense of bliss. So this is going to be a very special star code because we've had the Jupiter trine Uranus experience all year long, but it ends on December 15th. And by the time you actually watch this, it may actually have culminated. However, it will last through the end of the month and into 2020 because it is so powerful and because Jupiter is part of the big stellium that is exact in January. So this trine between Jupiter and Uranus is very important. So we're going to look into how this trine between these two wonderful planets impacts the stellium in January and how happiness and liberation are actually one and the same. So there's not one without the other. And how being focused on your well-being also activates wealth and where the origins of wealth actually come from. And then we'll also look at how to maintain joy, not just to feel it when it happens occasionally or spontaneously, but how to actually stay in maintenance mode in terms of joyfulness, which of course is the best way to live. And of course, we'll end with wonderful tips, as always, takeaways for you to apply in your professional and your personal life. So that's what we're covering today. So Jupiter moved into Capricorn in early December, and Uranus has been in Taurus full-time earlier this year and will be there for about 7 years. Jupiter will be in Capricorn for about a year. So they're both in earth signs now, and that is forming this wonderful trine. And that means that joy and liberation are being grounded into your life so that you can have them both at the same time. So Uranus represents freedom, breakthroughs, revolution, going outside the box. It's your higher mind, so it represents inspirational genius and invention. So Uranus liberates us from everything, including the past, which is probably what we need to be liberated from the most, right? Is our patterns. And this trine to Jupiter enhances positive liberation. So it's very exciting. It's surprising, obviously, because of the freedom factor. There's risk involved. It's stimulating. And so you will encounter people and situations, whether it is at home for the holidays or it is after the holidays at work, that will really be very eye-opening. And since Uranus governs the higher mind, the awareness of your greater journey is really enhanced. So meaning the greater journey of joy that you're here to live. So your intuition increases tremendously, and meaning you're getting downloads that are stimulating you in terms of your well-being. Your intuitive downloads, your flashes of insights, your inventive ideas, your creativity, they just give you a lot of self-confidence because, of course, Jupiter also enhances, it expands everything. It gives you more of what's good. And so you're owning that you are intuitive, inventive, inspirational, that you are individual, which is also very Uranian, the theme of individuality, that we're all unique, right? So you are going to be on a high in terms of allowing that intuition to guide you to something new. Uranus is the planet of change and Jupiter the planet of joy. So in order to understand where you're transforming, how you're transforming, what your core qualities are, you want to know your birth code. And that's very Uranian because Uranus governs astrology and numerology. So if you want to know more about your own gifts, who you are as a unique individual, who you are at soul level, go to starcodeclass.com. I highly recommend the free masterclass for you. If you haven't watched it yet, it'll tell you all about who you are at soul level in both numerology and astrology. Because this is a trine, and the trine is the most harmonious aspect in astrology, the sextile and the trine, we are going to have a much easier time to create shifts. And those shifts will very often come through, well, being in the moment, which is the most conscious way of living, because you're open to surprises, you're flexible in terms of moving with energy. And so since Uranus governs that surprising element and Jupiter governs the joyful expansion, you will feel a lot more lucky, fortunate. You'll have more lucky breaks. You will feel like your life is filled with lucky breaks, like you can wake up and take a risk because you have this sense of abandon. And without that sense of abandon that Uranus instills in you, you can't walk fully in stride with confidence. You have to have that ability to risk it all. So when you can trust your intuition, your instincts, and you're moving forward at the same time in a positive way, the results are always extraordinary because you're not second guessing yourself and you're not judging yourself. And those are critical to maintaining forward momentum in a conscious, effortless way. So if you felt any stagnation in 2019 as the stellium became more and more exact between Pluto and Saturn and Capricorn, because this is the big moment here coming up, it is going to dissipate now. It's going to melt away. Jupiter, having just moved into Capricorn, increases your sense of well-being, especially on the physical plane, the material plane. And Uranus in Taurus sets you free to explore abundance, because Taurus rules the second house of wealth and well-being and your values, and Capricorn rules the 10th house of your standing in the world and basically standing for something in your career, in your mission. So Capricorn and Taurus are earth signs, the most stable signs, very practical, very much about manifestation. And this is therefore an earth trine between these two planets. So you can really get your goals grounded into real results. It's really astounding how this is all happening during the stellium in Capricorn, which of course also governs getting those results, right? This happens on the 15th of December, and December in 2019 is a 15 universal month. So we have a double 15 code that's aligned with this trine, and 15 is the spiritual alchemist number, magic, positivity, uplifting others through joy and exuberance and enchantment and vibrancy. So that means what you're moving towards, whatever your ambitions are, your goals are, come from a place of joy and bringing joy to others. So take this time before the holidays to really tune into that kind of sense about you, because the real positive news is that a week later, actually on the 24th of December, Christmas Eve, Uranus will be trine to the sun. So the sun will come around in Capricorn, having just entered on the solstice on the 21st, and then also trine Uranus. So it's going to activate that Jupiter trine as well, and that will allow you to reform and change and make new plans and be just really in love with freedom, with individuation, with liberation, with an independent spirit, unique perspectives, being inventive, shining your inner light because it's the sun, your heightened intelligence, your higher mind, helping you understand things like astrology and numerology and whatever it is you're into, Akashic Records, tarot. There's so many beautiful divination arts that are now available to us that we can immerse ourselves in at soul level, that can help us and guide us and make us feel like we're really connected on that level of the spiritual sciences, right? And this is where we're all heading. You know, the Aquarian age, which is upon us, and we really fully activated by the end of 2020. The Aquarian age is about merging spirituality and science. That is what Uranus is going to help us do. So this Jupiter trine Uranus moment is very important for understanding we can't have one without the other, right? There is really an order, a scientific order to the universe that's represented through numbers and the sacred geometry of astrology. And then there is this spiritual element, this spiritual interpretation, the connection to what these colors and numbers and frequencies and vibrations actually stand for. So that is obviously where we're all heading right now, and that is the breakaway from the standard education, the Capricornian top down, this is what you need to believe, and history books are the only way history was lived, and all that stuff that is meant to indoctrinate you to think a certain way. That's the lower mind. We're moving into the higher mind. You think for yourself. You discover this for yourself. You go on your own journey. You are set free now. So Jupiter trine Uranus gives you those tools to maintain that happiness. And this is the key, because throughout the day, we will be confronted with different things that happen. An email comes in, a phone call comes in, we make a discovery here and there with whoever we're with or whatever it may be. And how do we maintain staying in a place of joy throughout those changes? How do we stay happy? And what truly is wealth? Well, wealth in the English language, the Old English language, actually stood for well-being. So wealth is not just about money. That's how we interpret it now. It is feeling well. So, and what is well-being? Do you have to feel physically well to be in a state of well-being? No, absolutely not. You can be ill and still have a state of well-being. So it's not dependent on you physically being well. So feeling happy is really about having inner exuberance and inner joy and being alive and experiencing your life as a state of conscious exuberance, being on a high. And so waking up and being grateful, for example. And also knowing the difference between depression, which lowers your energy, it makes you feel low vibrational, and feeling exuberant. You have to acknowledge the difference. So when Uranus comes in, it's liberating you from those past ideas of what it means to be happy, or that only other people can be happy, or whatever it may be, and allow you to create a steady stream of happiness. Because remember, Jupiter is in Capricorn, really the most steady sign there is, right? This is an earth sign of tremendous security. And so the first thing that you do to keep a flow of steady happiness in your life is to take accountability. So Capricorn, the sign that Jupiter is in now, is all about taking ownership, and that means keeping track. So when you run a business, you have to keep track. You have to keep track of leads, you have to keep track of the inflow, the outflow, right? So keeping track is something we know how to do with money. We do it for our taxes, our finances, our bank accounts. But we need to take account of our happiness, and that's what Capricorn is asking us to do. And so when you are conscious and you become aware, you become accountable for how you're spending your energy. You become accountable whether you're stagnating or you are moving forward. You are thinking backwards or moving into old habits, or you are exploring with an exuberance. So when you think of money and keeping track of money, it's easy because, that's what we naturally need to do, right? To live as adults. But money is really an energy exchange. That's all it is. It's energy that is created when you work and you receive money in return. And then it's an energy exchange between you and the universe, you and somebody, you and an entity. So the same goes with happiness. Happiness is something that is an exchange between you and others. You can measure it. You can take account on, hey, am I feeling happy? Do I feel better today than yesterday? Am I emotionally more positive? If you keep track of your happiness meter, you will profit with more happiness. That's the same with money. Taking account of your financial flow means that you are consciously engaged with how you're creating the flow to begin with, and you're watching it. So you don't want to wait, like with finances, until a crisis appears where you realize, oh my God, I'm really in deep doo-doo here. You don't want to do that with happiness either. So just like keeping track of money helps you to be profitable, right? You don't do this. You don't keep track in order to follow all the losses, you keep track in order to elevate yourself. So every day you need to do this with joy as well. And one way to do this is to count your blessings at the end of the day. I know many of you already do this. It's very, very important, because when you do that, you take accountable for how you created joy in your life, and you give thanks for it, because really nothing, no one is worth lowering your vibrational state. And this is where the taking control, having the freedom to be you and not following anybody else's idea is so important, because no one can take that energetic state of joy away from you. Only you can do that. It's yours to create. It's yours to maintain. And so the question is, am I more happy? Am I less happy? Take stock of it. And this is also very important. You can ask yourself, how joyful am I? Just ask yourself that. And how much joy am I sharing with others? How much joy am I sharing with the people in my life? This will help you take accountability. It's similar to taking stock of your bank account, your income, right? So Capricorn's impact in your life is to own your state of being. And in this case, we want well-being, we want wealth, we want to feel that sense of self-discipline and responsibility, which is so crucial. And it's for a good cause. It's for living a life of wonder, feeling wonderful, feeling truly well. So, these are things that we may not think about as trackable, but our emotional state is impacting everything, every decision that we make, right? So if you take full ownership and are conscious and you organize and structure your environment where, if you're at home, like I'm at home now, I have structured my home environment in a way that is beautiful because it uplifts me. I need to do the same for my emotional environment. I need to create an environment that is joyful, where the compass is set on joy, where I can dial in joy. I need to do that internally. That's not an external thing. The external helps, but I need to build an environmental place internally that guarantees that I feel joy. And that the same with you. So you don't want to engage in thoughts and emotions that block joy. Yes, you have to deal with complicated matters, but when you approach them from a perspective of, this is a growth experience and I'm going to learn something from this, and go into it with a positive attitude, that's very different than going into it with begrudging that you have to, spend time with this issue or that issue. And you can do this with anything. The environment that you create around anything can be sprinkled with positivity or negativity. So go to sleep counting your blessings. Wake up, give thanks for your day before it even happened. Give thanks for joy in your life, because, hey, your life is brief. We all know that. One day we're not going to be here. That's just a fact. So what is the most precious thing in our life? It is time. So we don't want to waste that on trivial things like stupid petty arguments, procrastination, distraction, drama with family, friends, needless stuff. We do not need to put our energy there. Very important before the holidays to keep that in mind, because just like you wouldn't spend your precious income, your money, on a clunker of a car, or waste your most precious resource of time on anything that's not worth something. Why would you do that with your emotional state? You want to focus on what's worth it. So you want to ask, is this idea, this project, this person, this trip, this whatever it is it worth it? Remember, Taurus, where Uranus is about how you feel, your inner worth, what you value. It begins within you. You need to ask those questions. Is how you are feeling elevating your life or depressing your life? Is what you are doing enhancing your life or depleting you energetically? These are the questions of worthwhile well-being, when you're absolutely conscious that you will only do what is truly necessary with your time, with your experience, with everyone. You will discern, which is Capricorn, you will discern between what is totally necessary and what is not, what is superfluous, what is wasteful energy, right? What is not necessary. So Jupiter trine Uranus is liberating you from past ways, past habits, past thought patterns, taking yourself to where you are in charge of joy in your life. And know that your joy is your making. And just like your life, the quality of your life is up to you. It is your making. Your joy is your making. So you want to take time to restructure whatever it is that you need to in order to make the necessary changes in your life to live a life of joy. And this is something I explore very deeply in the live stream I just gave, the Ultimate Yearly Forecast for 2020. So if you want to know more and go deeply into the star code for 2020, which is the big year of perfect vision, 2020 is an extraordinary year in the star codes in astrology, numerology. If you want to know more, just check out the free video. Click below on the link. It'll take you to a page and you can discover more about the Ultimate Yearly Forecast. And meanwhile, just enjoy this time. We're in mid to late December. It is a very special time of the year, as you know. And joy, the season of joy, ring it in and ring it in your heart and share it abundantly. Share it with every being, every fiber of your being at all times. And you will be amazed at what will grow inside of you and then externally. It's really extraordinary. So this is the liberation theme for joy with Jupiter trine Uranus. Enjoy it. Have a beautiful, beautiful week, and I will see you in next week's star code. Bye-bye for now.